Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 184. My name is Jason Rippling. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. I'm here with Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com. Remember the dash to save the cash, and Buy and Sell DVC.com.
And today is August 14th, 2024, which means your 11th month window is already into July of 2025. And the 7th month window is going to be spring break for some people, March 14th. 2025. So be sure to get your reservations made or planned out or whatever you're looking to do. And remember, if you're looking to sell your property or buy a Disney Vacation Club property, it's buyandsellDVC.com. You can view the listings. You can sort them by resort. You can click on make an offer. And then if you're looking to rent some DVC points or to rent out your points, you want to go to DVC-Rental.com. If you're a renter, you want to click the tab that says check availability. If you're an owner, you want to click the tab that says owners, I believe.
I think it's DVC members.
DVC members,
DVC
sorry.
members.
There. And then that'll take you to right where you need to go. And we're going to start on the buy and sell side of things. The question was asked, what type of buyer are you? Because now, there's so many different resorts, resale, direct. There's so many different options. So the choices were: are you a low upfront cost buyer, meaning you can buy Vero Beach or Hilton Head at a low price per point on the resale side? Are you a number of years remaining, meaning are you trying to buy that resort that gives you, like Alani is 2062, Bay Lake Tower 2060. Are you trying to find a resort that's going to give you the longer end time versus 2042? Are you a total cost of ownership, meaning you have your purchase price, your annual dues, and the length of time? Are you a low dues buyer, like a Saratoga Springs, because they have lower annual dues? Are you strictly? I feel like the number of. I know that people still say this over and over again, but I feel like it's like buy where you want to stay, people. I don't know. I feel like that's dropping a little bit because
I think so too.
More people like the bounce around idea versus, I feel like in 2009, if you will, everyone was like, oh, you have to stay at Beach Club. You have to buy a Beach Club and stay there and make a reservation 7 to 11 months in advance. It's the pool. But now it's like, I've been to the Beach Club. Let's go here.
Cool. I like jumping around personally.
Yeah. And then are you a predicted resale value exit strategy, meaning you're buying in and you say, well, what if I need to get out of this in a year or 2 years? What am I going to be able to resell it for? How fast is it going to resale? Things like that. Which ones do you feel like you prioritize the most? And I probably just threw all that out at you in a short period of time, but you can always go back and rewatch and think about. But those are the things that you kind of have to figure out how you do want to prioritize that when you are going to buy. And like the first response that I put on here, like this person, like California is its own, special place, if you will. Like this person said, 5, we wanted and bought resale Grand Cal.
If you're going to California, you have to own there. There's really no way around it. It's almost impossible to get it 7 months. So if that's your plan, if you're, we'll say a California local, that area, that's your main home, you need to own it. Grand Californian or Disneyland Hotel.
And then like here it says initial buy-in with Saratoga Springs resale, low upfront cost, decent contract length and dues. Add-on was where we want to stay, Grand Floridian at Christmas time, but still good contract length and low dues.
That's exactly what we did. We bought mostly Saratoga up front just because best bang for the buck to use around. And then when we realized, we'd like to stay at Boardwalk and try to get that standard view studio, impossible to get if you don't own there, or Animal Kingdom, you got that amazingly cheap value view studio. Again, impossible if you don't own there. So we bought smaller contracts to add on to it just to use just at those 2 resorts. And the Saratogas are just used for everything else. Sorry.
Jump in. Then initial contract was Animal Kingdom, 200 points because we loved it there. Second was resale at Boardwalk, 150 points because we like the location. We are in our 60s and 70s and don't care about the length of contract left. We paid cash and would not buy if we had to finance. This says balancing act between 5, 2, and then 2 and 4. Can I afford to keep it? Do I consider this purchase worth it for the remaining time? Beach Club has so far been cut from my purchase interest because of its higher pricing and shorter contract. I mean, that's another thing I'm finding is people are just, the 2042 end dates, they're kind of getting pushed to the side when it comes to people making a decision because 2042 does seem to be getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
So,
it? It feels like it's really starting to creep up where you're like, you have to wonder about that. Again, I love my boardwalk, but I'm like, personally, I don't know if my family would want to buy another boardwalk contract just because of that early expiration. Again, love the resort, but it's getting close to that. If it's something, the prices are probably going to start going down
Right.
as you get closer. So it will definitely still make sense, I'm sure. Supply and demand will keep making sure that it makes sense. But it's something you have to definitely consider.
Yeah, I mean, especially like if you have a 5 and a 7-year-old, and you're like, okay, by the time this ends, my 5-year-old's 23 or whatever. Is that when I really want this membership to end? When
Yeah, a lot of people that come buy stuff, they're 60 years old and they go, I don't know where I'm going to be 20 years from now, so I don't care. I'll buy wherever. It really doesn't matter to me.
right. That's it. That's the other thing is the demand kind of shifts. It's like the boardwalk and beach club owners might be these people in their 60s and 70s because they're not concerned about the end date. And if, again, like you say, the market will dictate the right price that it needs to be in order for someone to buy it. So then all of a sudden they're buying it, and the people that are with, that have the 5 and the 7-year-olds, maybe they're leaning towards buying the longer contract. In the end, I guess everything works out because you have a whole. Every buyer is completely different on who they are,
Yeah.
what their ages are. That might be the last. Again, this is just a lot of information, short period of time. But those are the types of things. There's because some people, they come and they say, well, what's the best resort to purchase? Well, and they want me to answer that question without asking them any questions. I mean, you have to, some effort has to be put in on your end you have to answer some questions like how far in advance you make your reservations, where do you like to stay, what size room do you need, and then these 6 different things are going to be part of your planning on where you want to buy. So
it's kind of like asking, what's the best car to buy out there? And you're like, there's hundreds to choose from. There's something for everybody. So you can't sit there and say, well, this is the one car, this is the one resort you need to buy at. You got to go with Jason. You got to answer the questions, plan a little bit because they're all very, very different.
Right, because if you put in a little bit of work on planning and answering the questions and asking yourself the questions, then you're going to get. There's a better chance that you're going to get the right resort for how you vacation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're on to the food review of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for today's food review, we are going to go over to the Polynesian Resort. I stayed there a few weeks ago, and one of the things that we did that I wanted to do while I was there was eat lunch at Captain Cook's, where for the first time we tried the Thai coconut meatballs for $10.49. These are house-made all-beef chili garlic meatballs cooked in a coconut cream served over white rice. It came with three meatballs over the rice, so the value wasn't really great. Food was pretty decent. Definitely had a slow burn on the back of it. I was supposed to share this with my wife, but she could only have a bite or so before she didn't want any more because it was just too spicy. The meatballs were very, very tender, and it had pretty good flavor to it. It's probably not something I would order again, but it was decent. I mean, I give it a 6.3, nothing great, but it wasn't bad, not great value, so 6.3.
And now we're on to the DVC rental side of things, where I'm guessing you're going to talk about your Polynesian stay.
Not too much about my stay, but
Okay.
I will touch that. We're going to do a featured resort for Polynesian just because I just stayed there. We were in the Moria section for the first time. This This was one of the Walt Disney's first hotels. It opened its doors October 1st, 1971. It holds a special place in Disney history that you'll see, welcoming guests for over 50 years. It has an island inspiration. Each room is housed in it's a colored, they call them longhouses, named after a real Polynesian island. Originally named after generic Polynesian terms like Bali High, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong, or in Samoa. The longhouses were renamed in 1999 to better reflect specific islands like Tonga'o and Bora Bora. Back to the history, this is actually where the Beatles had their breakup. Music fans might be surprised to learn that the legendary band The Beatles held their final recording session at a rented bungalow at the Polynesian Villa Resort in 1970. While the resort wasn't open yet, it witnessed a pivotal moment in music history. It also has frozen treat fame. I think everybody's a Disney fan knows all about the Dole Whips, which actually originated at the Polynesian Resort. Today you can get the Dole Whips pretty much anywhere, but they started at the Polynesian. Polynesian villas currently, as of right now, have the studios. They have the largest Walt Disney World studios on property, as well as the over-the-water bungalows. Late in 2024, they still really have not said anything yet of when it's going to be, but they're going to be opening the Island Tower building, which is coming along very nicely. I know there were a lot of people who were upset by it, saying how it was ugly, and now that they're adding paint to it, it's looking a lot nicer. And then you go past. But that's going to have duo studios that sleep two, regular studios, one bedrooms, and the first ever two-bedroom penthouse.
Did you guys stay in a studio or bungalow? Or is that coming at a later episode?
Oh, no. It was a studio at Moria.
Okay.
I still
you said Moria. Sorry,
I still have not stayed in the bungalows. I visited them and checked them out, but I've not stayed in a bungalow. One of the things about the resort is it says running with a view, that it has a jogging trail that circles around the entire property. It says lace up your sneakers and enjoy a scenic run around the Seven Seas Lagoon, spotting Disney icons such as Cinderella Castle in the distance. Another thing, very, very popular at Polynesian is Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, more than drinks. So they have all sorts of drinks at this very, very small bar. Sometimes there's a wait to get in, but if you're not familiar with it, a lot of times if you order specialty drinks, it triggers stuff around you. So they'll start singing or yelling, stuff will start moving on the wall. So it's a really, really cool atmosphere to check out if you've never been to it. And I have on here last thing for a tip on going back and forth to Magic Kingdom. It works best to take the monorail over to Magic Kingdom from the hotel, because it just stops at Grand Floridian and then you're at the hotel. On the way back, it would go from Magic Kingdom to Contemporary to the bus stop, then to Polynesian. So normally it's probably a little bit faster if you take the boat ride back. Plus it's really also nice just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Take the monorail there, you get the monorail experience. Then the way back, take the boat just directly across the lake. I think it normally stops at Grand Floridian first and then goes to Polynesian, but it's probably save you a little time. Plus also, it's a lot of fun to do both modes of transportation.
And this was when you say it was a few weeks ago, it was probably back in July, right? Or
Yes, this was back in July.
and what was did you have any comments on the weather or?
It was, we only went for one night.
Okay.
We were supposed to stay in the cabin for my wife's birthday, but my son had a planned surgery and they made it on my wife's birthday. They made it, he would be in the hospital on my wife's birthday. So we had to cancel that. We just grabbed anything that was coming up. So we just grabbed one night at Polynesian. What really stunk is it rained the whole evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we had, not lightning, what's it called? We had the Genie Plus, and we also had the virtual queue for Tiana's. And just as our time was up, it started raining and lightning. And it just stayed like that the whole night. Like it did not open again. We ended up getting, we saw the storm was coming, so we rushed over to Pirates and rode Pirates, and we came out and it was teeming. And everybody's just sitting in the gift shop. And we sat there probably for like 7 or 8 minutes. I was like, I'm peeking around going, can we get back over into Pirates again from here? I said, because I'd rather ride the ride instead of sitting in the gift shop. So I looked and there was a little overhang. I'm like, I think we can do it. So we quickly rushed through and there's nobody on the ride. We did it 4 times in a row. Not a single person in front of us, just walked right on every time. So we ended up writing Pirates over and over and over again. I figured it's definitely better than just kind of sitting around waiting for the rain to stop. We were able to stay covered and just keep going on the ride. So that was fun. I still would have liked to have gone on Tiana's because there was an issue with my son's health, so we couldn't do the first time when we had the DVC or the AP early stuff before it opened. The early entry to test it out. Missed that, and then this was the only time we've been there since then, and we had technically 2 passes to go, skip the line kind of, and go on the ride. Missed it again. So eventually, I'm going to get on this ride. I just don't know when. Probably a couple months from now.
We want to end it there, or
Unless you have something else magical.
well, I was just going to ask you because I know it was only one night. It was Florida in July.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to Arizona before? I forget if I've asked this, but no, you've
never
never been. No, okay. So you can't comment because people were talking about the Florida heat versus Arizona heat. I've only been in Arizona once. That was in 2008 in September, and I could not handle it. Because in Florida, I sweat and the sweat keeps me cool. I mean, there it was like, a drop of sweat tries to come out and then it just dry immediately. And
So you found the humidity better.
no. Yeah. Florida,
Really?
I can do all sorts of activities in Florida in the worst heat and there's no problems. In Arizona, when we were at the resort, they have little placards and it had all sorts of warnings. If you because you mentioned on here, lace up your sneakers. It said, if you want to go for a jog, make sure it's before this time or make sure it's after this time. And they don't have those warnings. We don't have any warnings like that in Orlando about the heat or anything.
They should though. It's hot.
But
it can be hot.
So anyway, I prefer the Florida over Arizona. So I didn't know, but
I actually just met up the other day with a family of ours, was a DVC member of ours, who they live in Guadalajara, Mexico. And they were saying it gets hot there, but it's just so much worse here. So they said there's no humidity down there, so you don't feel it. Here, they were feeling it. I was standing outside talking to them. I was just dripping. I'm like, I moved here 8 years ago. I'm like, it's, they say, oh, your blood thins, you get used to the heat. I still sweat. It's hot out.
but
July, August is hot.
I get used to it though. But it's interesting because going into the trip to Arizona, everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna."
It's a dry heat. It's not bad.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna want to move there. And I was there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh! This is just unbelievable." So anyway, on that note, we will. Are you gonna? So okay, you covered. There's no sneak peek into your stay at Polynesian. We pretty much covered it.
No, that's it. There's not much of a sneak peek. It was a studio. I've done it before. It was nothing especially.
Was it ground floor?
It was third floor.
Third floor.
Third floor. It was a standard view, so it was a view of it was very pretty, but just walkway and some trees and stuff. It wasn't a lake view or anything. It was just regular standard view. We had to use the points because it was a contract that our points were expiring, and it was supposed to be used for a cabin, but that got messed up a little bit. But there will be a cabin coming up though.
Nice. Did the DVC have a open house thing for the bungalows? Do they still do that, or?
I did not see.
Oh, okay.
I did not see if there's anything for the bungalows with open houses.
I don't know.
I was just trying to avoid the rain.
Gotcha. So, yes. So hopefully you've learned some stuff from this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds great. If you didn't learn anything, I'm sorry. But
And let us know, what do you prefer, the dry heat, Arizona, or the Florida tropical heat?
I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people who agree with you and want to be sweaty. I think there's going to be a lot of people who prefer the dry heat.
I'm telling you, though, I just, anyway, I will stop there, but...
Have a wonderful day, everyone.